what is that smell? I am definitely getting a hint of a deal. Oh wait, it's more than a hint. Yeah, these are the best deals, and not just this season, but all year long. In all seriousness, the smartest shoppers know that you get the brands you love with the most savings and cash back with Rakuten. And I know I'm certainly interested in sniffing out those deals. Start getting cash back at your favorite stores like Urban Outfitters, Petco, even Expedia, and getting cash back doesn't mean you have to miss out on sales because those can be stacked right on top. It's easy to use and based on a simple idea. Stores pay Rakuten for sending them shoppers, and Rakuten shares the money with you as cashback through PayPal or check. Smells like a perfect deal to me. Download the free Rakuten app and never miss a deal. Or go to Rakuten.com to start getting the most bang for your buck. That's Rakuten.
At T-Mobile, our critical mission is providing unparalleled 5G coverage for when connectivity is mission critical. Introducing T-Priority, America's best 5G network experience for first responders, even in times of congestion. More capacity, faster speeds, better coverage. T-Priority from T-Mobile, built for tomorrow's emergencies, ready today. Discover more at t-priority.com.
For qualifying organizations on eligible rate plans, coverage not available in some areas and may be impacted by emergencies.
In 2005, two brothers hit the road to fight monsters. That road has led them to fighting demons, angels, and saving the world.
It's a journey that is taking them to heaven, hell, and back. But they aren't done.
Join our journey as we go episode by episode, following the adventures of Sam and Dean Winchester. We break each episode down with the writers, producers, directors, crew, and actors to bring you the behind-the-scenes stories of how this legendary TV series was made. That guy right there, that's Rob Benedict. He played God and Chuck Shirley.
Hey, and that guy there, that's Richard Spade Jr. He played Gabriel, Loki, and the Trickster. And P.S., he directed a bunch of episodes, too.
Now, while we are insiders, we're also outsiders, because we're not experts. This is our first time watching the entire series, all 327 episodes.
Rich and I have met many of the fans at conventions around the world, and we are deepening our understanding of why you all love this series so much. Because it's really good.
Yeah, it is. Now, listen. There will be spoilers, so consider yourself warned.
And thank you for joining us on this trip we call Supernatural Then and Now. Hey, everybody. This is Rob Benedict.
And I'm Richard Spate Jr.
And we are talking about Season 7, Episode 1.
Dude, we're finally out of Season 6 and we're on into Season 7.
We are doing Season 7. It's happening. We're rolling down the Season 7 hill with an episode called Meet the New Boss. Season 7, Episode 1. Hey, thank you for being on this journey with us.
Thank you, buddy. You're welcome. I've enjoyed this every step of the way.
I always forget that you don't know how podcasts work.
We're doing a what now?
It's almost hard to believe that we've watched and reviewed 127 episodes of Supernatural. Can you believe it?
And that's time we cannot get back.
That's 127 or so.
We don't want it
hours,
back.
Rob.
We come on.
So we're 127 down, which means we're only 200 to go.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Holy
200.
smokes.
Yeah.
That's a lot of TV.
A lot of years.
I don't know how we're going to do it.
I'm excited to do it.
Yo, please. You're nuts.
Hey, you're crazy.
No, you're crazy, dude. You're the one who's super crazy. You're not a morning person, and you're acting like a morning person. I don't get it. What's with all the pep and motivation coming from, Bobo?
Well, funny enough, I've been drinking Magic Mind in the mornings. It's a mental performance shot.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. That's the samples that producer Steve sent to us.
Yeah.
Right? So you're drinking that, you're doing that instead of coffee?
No, I still drink coffee, but I've added Magic Mind to my mornings. I've been drinking it about a week. I feel less stress. I feel less jittery. I'm sharper all day long.
In full disclosure, I have not tried it, but your endorsement goes a long way. I'm excited to try it now.
Magic Mind. It's been amazing for me. It's totally safe. It contains vitamin C and D, plus mushroom nootropics.
There we go.
Try it, and let's see how you feel next week.
Okay.
They shipped over 65 countries, and at the end of the episode, I'll have a code our listeners can use to get 48% off your first subscription to Magic Mind.
Ladies and gentlemen, now Rob's going to do what he's done really well. Season 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, and 6s. Let's see if he can continue the streak and really crush the summaries, starting with 701 here in Season 7. Rob?
Picking up where Season 6 ended, Sam, Dean, and Bobby are about to bow down to the new god, Castiel. Ha! He wishes.
That'll teach him.
However, Castiel stops them. They're only kneeling out of fear, not respect. He inexplicably leaves without healing Sam, whose mind is falling apart as memories of Lucifer's cage start returning. Do you think they shot this, took a break, and then came back and set it up and shot this then? I think they did.
Rather than shooting at the end of the next year, of the previous year? No, I think they stopped, came back.
Yeah, because I think Jensen's hair looked different. I think Jensen's hair looked a little different. So did Jared's, when it come to think of it. Jim Beaver's hair looks exactly the same.
Very similar.
Castiel proceeds to go on a killing spree. His first stop is heaven, where he kills all the angels who sided with Raphael. Next stop is a church, where a reverend is preaching intolerance. As Castiel leaves the church, signs of him being unhinged start to appear. Really? That's where you'll notice? At the church? He's been unhinged for a while, but yes, his skin is also falling apart. He's hearing voices, staggers, and leaves a burn mark on a pew.
Oh, and also somehow changes the stained glass window.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's an effect of him acting squirrely. Suddenly he can change glass art.
Yeah.
But that's what happens.
Yeah. I laughed at that out loud, actually.
I kind of got lost in translation. I wasn't really sure what was going on there.
Yeah.
And why he'd make a glass window of himself with already having a black blood leak down his cheek. It wasn't even like a good glass art of him.
Is that what that was? It was like...
I thought it was damaged cast, yeah.
Dean and Bobby head back to Bobby's house with an unconscious Sam.
So because I know you have a huge Sam thing, what's your favorite Sam? Is it normal Sam, soulless Sam, or unconscious Sam?
Soulless Sam. It was always soulless
Still?
Sam.
Okay, I don't know.
That was a niche,
Sam.
and you know that. And you're exploiting my niche.
Get out of my
Stop
niche.
exploiting my
and
niche.
Leave my nephews alone, too.
So yeah, that's my guy. My guy was soulless Sam. All are unsure what to do about the new Castiel. Dean decides to pull away from everything. He's just going to fix the Impala, and he'll help Sam when he's conscious. Sam eventually wakes up. News stories start to appear about Castiel's further exploits. Religious leaders, the KKK, New Age spiritual leaders are all being wiped out. That's not all bad, right?
No, yeah. I guess the way it's going about it is not so great.
Sure. Sam wants to do something about it, but Dean wants to stay out of Castiel's way. Meanwhile, Crowley is hiding in a trailer adorned with sigils. But the sigils don't do any good preventing Castiel from finding him. Did you notice in this part, Shepard has real thick hands. It starts with just hands holding something.
Yeah, I saw that.
And you're going, oh, who's this going to be? I was like, who's got hands like that? They're just got sausage fingers, that man.
I don't think I ever thought of him as having nimble fingers.
Let's look next time we see him in person. So Castiel just goes right by the sigils and he confronts Crowley. And Castiel makes him an offer. Remain the king of hell and accept the souls that Castiel offers him.
By the way, I'm going back a little bit to one thing, but I wanted to point out something. You know how like Dean is fixing the car in the beginning of this?
I do.
I'm going to fix the car. Great shot that starts upside down. Looks like he's in the car, and then it does a 180-degree turn.
Yeah. That's our boy, Uncle Phil.
Great Phil Segresha.
Oh, great. It's really great. Great. Of course, I was like, man, all the blood would be rushing to my head. I don't know if I could do that. So Castiel confronts Crowley and says, he makes him an offer. So Nuevo God needs hell as leverage over his enemies and to keep Lucifer's cage intact. Crowley really doesn't have a choice, so he accepts the offer.
Exactly.
So,
he didn't have a choice.
So basically, Crowley can remain the king of hell, and then Castiel, he just needs, leverage over his enemies, over hell.
Right.
Yeah. Again, very Trump, right?
Yeah, I'm making an offer you can't refuse, or very Godfather.
Which is very Trump. Back at Bobby's, Sam is starting to hallucinate. He tries to hide it from the others. The group hatches a plan. They call Crowley and get a spell that will summon death and bind him, similar to what Lucifer did. They want death to kill God Castiel. They collect the needed items. So the shepherd comes and he's like, oh, damn it. But he gives them what they want, right?
Right.
And then they have to collect these items to get this special thing to bind death, including a fulgurite, which is a crystal.
Yeah, lightning strikes sand and it crystallizes.
Yeah. So they need to get that to summon death. Suddenly, Castiel appears and crashes the party. He threatens to kill them all, but the boys are bound to death, so they are in a stalemate. Dean tries to talk some sense into Castiel, whose vessel is starting to fall apart. Death provides an explanation. Well, that was a quick summary, but a really good scene there where Julian is back as Death.
Dude, it's always great to see Julian.
Yeah.
And by the way, so the fried pickle thing, I remember that Death liked pizza.
Yeah.
When was the fried pickle? When did he?
I think it's just that he likes fast food. That's what I thought that was. Like pizza and fast food and stuff like that, junk food.
Gotcha. Okay.
I don't know.
That makes more sense.
That's what I thought it was. Yeah, but a great scene there. And then Castiel unbinds Death.
And with a snap of a finger, like he just
Yeah, exactly. And
quick.
yeah. So when Castiel absorbed all the souls in purgatory, it included some pre-mankind beasts called Leviathans.
Which I thought was a cool reveal. And I think we zip past the bit where Misha opens his shirt and it looks like the Leviathans are pushing through the skin. That was a cool effect.
Oh, that was great. That was great. So yeah, Death provides this explanation. When Castiel absorbed all the souls in purgatory, it included some pre-mankind beasts called Leviathans, who God locked in purgatory because all they wanted to do was tear the world apart. That's why he created purgatory, he says. They are now inside Castiel. Castiel and Death squabble over who's going to kill who. Castiel releases Death's binding spell and disappears. Death, annoyed with Castiel, agrees to help the brothers. He tells them that they have to get Castiel back to the place where he absorbed the souls, open another portal to purgatory, and be talked into giving them up. Death even creates an eclipse the next night to make the spell possible. Did you get all that?
Yeah, I picked up all that.
Good. I don't know if I did, but now I did. I watched it and I loved it. I just didn't know if I got all the details. And now I got
there's a lot going on, but no, I thought, Julian was pretty clear in his directions. You got to do
So
this,
good.
you got to do that.
He's so good.
Yeah.
Honestly, all the good actors in this episode, it just elevates the entire episode. You have Pellegrino, Julian, Shepard, Jim Beeve.
Pellegrino's so good at his creepy devil thing.
Castiel appears in a campaign office, looking less himself. He kills everyone there. Sam, not giving up on Castiel, prays to him. Castiel hears the prayer and admits he's starting to lose it and asks for help. The team bring Castiel back to Crowley's secret lair, where the original ritual was performed. While Dean and Bobby are preparing the spell, Sam is visited by a hallucination of Lucifer, who is trying to convince him that the past year or so he has still been in hell, and that Sam's quote-unquote reality is an illusion.
I did have a bit of a chuckle here in that they're like, we got to get this going, lickety-split. Sam, go get the blood. 10 minutes later, they're like, where's Sam? And all he did was go like down the hall to get the mason jar of blood, but then he had an hallucination, and Mark Pellegrino's just yapping his ear off.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, you come back and they're still slightly moving Castiel to the left. What happened to the ticking clock here, fellas?
Yeah, I know. Also, earlier in the episode when they're like, I found a crystal, it was sold at auction, and the guy lives 8 hours away. Boom, they're at the guy's house. And that's a long drive. That's a long day of driving. You know what I mean? Anyway, Castiel tries to apologize to Dean as Bobby performs the ritual. A burst of light blasts out of Castiel's chest. Castiel collapses to the floor, nearly dead. Bobby and Dean revive him and start to try to find Sam. Unfortunately, the Leviathans held on inside Castiel. They possess him and overpower Bobby and Dean. If you thought Castiel was crazy at the beginning of the episode, things are about to go nuts.
Oh, man. And the graphic of the Leviathans, by the way, is super cool.
Bursting out of his belly?
That, but also they're going, wah! The look it up version.
Oh, yeah, the Leviathans are no joke.
Yeah.
And the effect of them trying to burst out of his stomach was really well done. At first, you're like, oh, great, good, finally. Cass is back. He said, I'm so ashamed. And then, boom, like that, he's like more evil than before.
Okay, well, here, we're going to continue this conversation, but we're going to do it under the banner of R, Rob and Rich ratings. Man, I gotta say, if you just rewind the tape to the beginning of season 6, what a way better start to a season. Here we got.
Oh my God.
Season 7.
I feel like we're back.
So much better.
Yeah.
And great. Written by Sarah, just a great episode. Directed by Phil, great episode.
Yeah.
Just
out with a bang.
Win.
We're off to the races. Yeah, like I said, we have a lot of like great heavy hitter characters.
A lot of heavy hitter characters. Yeah, man. It was just nice and dark. Pellegrino being a weirdo in all his great ways. And
such a weirdo. And I, for a second, honestly, I was like, oh my God, this whole last season, like season 6 was a dream.
I know, I thought that was cool, that whole idea.
Yeah.
I started to buy it too. It was really neat.
Yeah.
Leviathan gimmick. Really cool. The teeth, the visual of how they settled on that. Oh, you know what else is cool?
I don't think we've seen it yet in this episode, but yeah, that is cool.
We don't? We don't see Misha do it at some point? Oh man, for anybody listening, we watched 701 and 702 back-to-back to review, so my brain may be a little muddled between the two, but nonetheless.
Yeah.
You know what's really cool that did happen in this episode and happens in every episode going forward? the new season 7 Supernatural logo.
Yep.
An explosion of black goo on the screen. It's really cool.
Yeah.
It even has like a sploish sound.
I made Rob's dumb notes, and the first note is new opening logo.
God, that's a good note. It didn't belong in that dumb notebook. You should have a separate notebook for your good notes.
My second note, Shepard has thick fingers.
That goes in the dumb one.
Jared playing with a flashlight as he turns the corner. Did you see that? He's being really goofy with it's a really minor thing, but him and Jim turn the corner looking for Jensen, and Jensen has that nice couple kidnapped. That was a funny bit too. He was like, well, I got the gun.
Son, I'm the
Jensen's
one with the weapon.
Yeah, again, cut to they're tied up. But yeah, and he's like doing this in his flashlight, like banging it with his fists like it's out of batteries or something. It's just a funny little, I know it was Jared being Jared. It was just really funny.
Phil was probably, don't do that. Oh, forget it.
It's one of those things that like when everyone is in a goofy mood, it's just a funny little thing that he chose to do, that the flashlight's out of batteries and then he looks up and those people are kidnapped. I was like, what? My last dumb note is it was good that they could write Misha's skin irritation into the script.
That was nice. It was seamless.
Yeah, that was really good, great makeup.
Now, here's a question for you, Rob, just apropos of nothing that came to my mind.
Oh, boy.
How are Sam and Dean and Castiel doing?
Oh, Rich is referring to this new thing we're doing this season where we're going to comment about the Sam and Dean and Castiel's relationship. And I'm going to report that Sam and Dean are okay, except that Sam is doing the thing that Dean hates, which is not telling him the truth about everything that's going on with his mental state.
Yeah.
He doesn't really know. Sam's like, I'm fine, but he's not fine.
No.
And that really gets Dean's goat.
It does.
And Castiel, things are not good with Castiel.
Not doing great.
No, not.
That's kind of on the surface there. You know that.
Worse than I even thought that it would get.
Yeah. And then if you had to
Right.
comment on the status of the big bad, how would you?
Right. I mean, if you talk about the big bad, which is insider lingo for the antagonist of the season, right? Was called the big bad.
Right.
For example, Chuck was the big bad of season 15. Here we are in season 7. Who's the big bad?
We don't know.
We don't know yet. I was thinking maybe Pellegrino. Maybe it's the Leviathans. Or maybe there's a chief Leviathan.
Or maybe Eve comes back because Eve got really short shrifted in the big bad category in season 6.
Stop it. You're obsessed with Eve.
There's nothing wrong with Eve. Eve should have gotten more screen time.
We can't totally report because we don't totally know who the big bad is yet, but it's fun to see Pellegrino back. And
Is it fair to say we're all hoping it's Eve?
no, it's not. One of us is trying to keep the ship sailing in the right direction, and he says no. Anyway, so I'm ready to give my rating.
All right, let's rate it up. Robert, you start.
I think we're starting off with a bang. I feel like it's back. I don't know where we're going to go from here, but it's starting in a really good place. So I'm going to give it a good old-fashioned Kenny Loggins.
What era did you say?
1983 Top Gun
That's
Loggins.
second place, right? Isn't 1970s Loggins, Messina Loggins your number one?
It changes. It really changes.
Okay.
I can't say
But we're
for
going,
sure.
okay, but you're getting the highest ranking. You got Loggins. I got it.
Let's call it a high ranking.
Yeah.
It's not like the top of the top. I think maybe it's like Footloose Loggins.
Okay.
But I'll give it a Top Gun Loggins.
Okay, I accept.
Okay, and you, sir?
I am going to go with, as a surprise to nobody, a Stapleton.
Giving it the staple it down with the Stapleton.
Yeah, because it's a rock solid kickoff after the cluster F of last season's start. This is great. Refreshing change of pace.
Yeah. Well, very well done. Good job, everybody. And now we're going to take you into our interview. We're very excited. New season and return guest, our very good friend and one of the leads of the show. That's right. It's the up-and-comer, better known as Misha Collins.
Hello, Misha.
Hello, boys.
Hi, buddy. We're going to go ahead and get into the beginning of season 7, which this first episode especially was a huge episode for Castiel. And I just was saying earlier, I'm really glad that they worked in your skin disformity into the episode. I thought that was really good.
It was nice to be able to finally shoot an episode and not have to go through hair and makeup because it saves
Right.
so much time.
That must be
don't
weird.
realize
Yeah.
it becomes part of the routine, right?
Right,
No,
right.
that's just part of the factor of the day. But I was coming in sometimes 1 and 2 hours later every morning.
Yeah.
Because I no longer had to go through makeup.
Yeah, it was easy
They let
peasy.
you ooze your natural black, which is nice because sometimes they'll cut between scenes to keep the oozing. Why did you just aim us at your crotch? Let's keep the show classic.
Ain't you, oozing?
No, sir.
So is this the infamous season where Warner Brothers tried to kill you off for good?
We just noticed that your credit went from series regular to special guest star or something.
I forgot when you guys asked me to do this, I forgot about that whole chapter, a whole dark chapter.
I mean, you make it through this episode, which is great.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point. It occurred to me while rewatching the episode, or maybe watching. I don't know if I ever watched it in the first place, but I might have, out of spite, decided not to watch that episode. But as I was watching, I was reflecting on the fact that by the time we filmed this, I had already been sat down and told, you're done, you're not coming back, unless it's as some sort of evil twin. That was what I was told.
Wow.
Like, you're done. We've decided we've had enough. We can't take any more. And that gave me
it's strong words.
Yeah, my parking badge would no longer be valid on Warner Brothers lot, they told me. And they rescinded my series regular status. And
what does that look like when they rescind it? Do you go to the parking structure and your card doesn't work? Or like, how do you know?
Yeah, that's what it is. And the parking attendant doesn't make eye contact with you because they know.
Wow, they know. They know. Wow.
Gerald, is something wrong?
So wait a minute. Did you know before this episode that they're gonna try to kill you in episode 2?
Yes, I knew that. I knew exactly what was happening. They were killing. They weren't trying to. They were successfully killing me. In episode 2, I guess you're right. They were trying to because they ultimately failed, didn't they? I remember my agent dickered with them and was like, all right, since you're not exercising his contract for the entire season, how about for those first 2 episodes that he's going to give you, you pay him significantly less than you would pay him for a given episode on his series regular contract.
Smart.
Which my agent went on to add, we understand is a tiny fraction of what Jared and Jensen get paid. And they agreed.
Wow. I thought for sure they were gonna dig in their heels on that point, but really, that's a savvy agent you got there. Hold on. He was literally able to just watch your salary implode, and the network was powerless to do anything about it. You just had him over a barrel.
Yeah, the network, they couldn't do anything about it.
If you want Misha Collins on your set for any one episode, not just both, one, you pick one, you're going to slice and dice his fee, or he simply won't be there.
I don't think he went that far. I think it would be a bit far to say he won't be there. I mean, the studio and network were aware that no matter what they paid me, I'd come.
Of course.
Yeah, that's why you got that deal in the first place.
Right.
They knew you'd be there either way. Yeah. Yeah.
Can I tell you one more thing about this? So,
please do.
2 episodes, these first 2 episodes, the beginning of the next episode, 702, which, of course, none of your listeners have ever seen before, but the beginning of the following episode that we're not talking about right now, but I am talking about, is when I really do the oozing.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
That episode was a double bonus for me because I was filming on this reduced pay rate what was my unceremoniously last episode on the series.
Right.
And they really wanted to get it done on schedule, and I had a very acute case of food poisoning while on set. So while I was doing the oozing, they would like fill my mouth with this ooze syrup, whatever.
Oh my God.
And it tasted like milk of magnesia, actually. And they had stuff coming out of my eyes and my ears and my nose, right? And they would squirt it up far enough so that they could run away, yell action, and then it would start dripping.
Oh God.
And so we'd do a take. And then they had a big trash can. As you guys know, they have these big trash cans on set. And I would run over to the trash can, vomit, and then wipe my mouth with a paper towel, swish some water around in my mouth, and then they'd reset the
Oh my
chocolate.
God.
I was literally throwing up. And finally, Jensen, who was very sweet about it, he was like, guys, I don't know. Is there anything we can do to give him a break? So I went into my trailer where I ran into the bathroom in my trailer and I couldn't decide which to do first. I was going to shit myself and going to vomit at the same time.
Right.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, can't they just send me back to my hotel? But they were like, no, why don't we do want to finish the scene. So why don't you just take a few minutes here in your trailer, then we'll get back at it.
Oh my God.
They wanted to wring the last vestiges of life out of me.
Look, okay.
Yeah.
This is going to seem like I'm not sympathetic.
Jesus.
Even you admit, yes, it was hard and gross and they pushed you, but you were getting a fraction of your rate.
Yeah, yes, you put it that way. Funny the things we find a way to complain about, right?
Yeah, they had literally just zapped your fee into next to nothing. I think that says a lot.
That's insane, man. That is insane. Honestly, when we watched the second episode, which we're not talking about right now, but I was like, wow, this is a for Misha and makeup right now. It's just one of those days where you can't wait to shower
Oh,
it
yeah.
all off.
Yeah,
God,
that's
I had no idea that there was food poisoning on top of it.
The real heroes of this episode are the guys who clean the trailer at the end of the day.
Yeah. Or the trash can.
Salute your tip of the cap to those fellas.
So how long are you gone now?
So I go about my business and I'm done with Supernatural and I go back out there. I start auditioning again. Pretty soon it's pilot season and I like looking for potential shows to work on. And then right around that time, so it's like a few months later, Mark Pedowitz, the president of the CW, apparently called the producers of Supernatural and said, "Now, I see that the Castiel character is not on the show these days, but you're planning to bring him back, right?" And the producers are like, "No." And he was like, "You're bringing him back." So apparently the president of work Pedowitz weighed in on this and twisted their arms because of course they're like writers and artists and they don't work with me. But the bean counter at the top, he was like, "You know what? I think we should bring him back." So then Warner Brothers sent me an offer and it was like pretty good. And I said, "I'll think about it." And they said, "Well, you have 24 hours. And I was like, "I know that that's BS. They always say you have 24 hours, but you don't have 24 hours. And so then I tested for another pilot and I was like, "You know what? I don't want to do this. I'm not gonna sign this contract." I had my agent call back Warner Brothers and they were like, "No, that offer's no good. Bring you back at less than we were paying you for."
Really?
I was a fucking good negotiator. I just am. I think we talked about this on the last time I was on your podcast, didn't we?
I thought you were lying.
Didn't we talk about this the last time?
A little bit.
Maybe. I empathize because you're constantly getting jerked around as are you or aren't you the guest star? It's a hard position to be in.
Isn't that a strange, there are such strange economics behind this whole thing because guest stars get paid not a living wage. Not a living wage. You would have to work constantly and be working on multiple shows simultaneously to really make a living at it. It's just really impossible.
Yes.
Yeah, when you're a series regular and you've been on a show for a while, can be great money. But then there's some shows where it's like, what? They're paying them what? Like Game of Thrones. Apparently nobody made any money on Game of Thrones.
And I'm told the BBC shows, which has some of the best actors on television, that they don't pay any money. So when are you back?
End of this season.
Spoiler alert, but still.
When Dean reveals that he's been lovingly caressing Castiel's trench coat, keeping it in the trunk of his car, presumably donning it when he gets out of a shower. and Cask reappears and Dean's like, "Here, have your trench coat," because it still had the scent of you on it, he said.
Can I skip this episode? What episode number is this one so I can maybe just bypass?
Yeah, we talked about that the last season. It's always it's a hot topic when you bring up the Castiel of it all.
From season 5 to season 6 was a significant tone shift in the Misha Jensen relationship. And the on-camera relationship was different too.
Hey there, this is Jensen. I hope you're enjoying the episode, but we need to pull over for a second for some messages, and I gotta take a leak.
Hey everybody, it's Rob. I'd like to introduce you to something I just heard about through the podcast. It's called Factor, Factor, and Factor is a way that you can optimize your nutrition this year, because they have chef-made gourmet meals that make eating well easy. They're dietitian approved and ready to heat and eat in 2 minutes, so you can fuel up right now and feel great no matter what life throws at you. It's quick and easy, good food. What could possibly be better? So here's the deal. Factor arrives fresh to your door and fully prepared. So all you need to do is pop them in the microwave, and then 2 minutes later, boom, you got a fresh chef-made meal. You have 40 options across 8 dietary preferences on a menu each week, and it's easy to pick meals tailored to your goals. You can choose from preferences like Calorie Smart or Protein Plus or Keto. And with the Keto meal, you can lose up to 8 pounds in 8 weeks. So that's cool, and it's all done for you. You don't have to do anything. You reach your goals this year with ingredients you can trust and convenience that can't be beat. And you say to yourself, how would you know, Rob? Well, I'll tell you what. I just got Factor myself. That's me taking the last sip of my pineapple, turmeric, and basil cold-pressed juice. Last night, Ruth and I had a couple of meals. We had the the basil, garlic, barramundi, and tomato cream, which was delish. They've even got breakfast add-on meals, and we had the bacon and smoked cheddar egg scramble, which was amazing. It's so good, so great, lots of options. What are you waiting for? Eat smart with Factor. Get started at factormeals.com/factorpodcast and use code factorpodcast to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That's code factorpodcast at factormeals.com/factorpodcast to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. Hey guys, it's Rob. You know what gets me is cell phone bills. What are those charges? They're bogus fees. You know, the almost late fee. You were thinking about it. Fee. That's how they make their money, and that's the way that business works. But I personally would rather, I don't feel like my money is sort of just like, fast track into the service that I'm using. And so that's why I decided to stop paying those overpriced cell phone bills and switch to Mint Mobile. What? Who are you, Robert? I know, right? So say bye-bye to your overpriced wireless plans, jaw-dropping monthly bills, and unexpected overages. Mint Mobile is here to rescue you with premium wireless plans starting at $15 a month. All plans come with high-speed data, unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. This is the best part. You get to keep your phone number. Super easy. And all your existing contacts. So you don't do anything. You just be you, pay less money, switch to Mint Mobile. Ditch the overpriced wireless guy. Get 3 months of premium wireless service from Mint Mobile for $15 a month. If you like your money, Mint Mobile is for you. Shop plans at mintmobile.com/supernatural. That's mintmobile.com/supernatural. Upfront payment for $45 for 3-month, 5-gigabyte plan required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details.
Hey, guess what? We're back.
So the final scene is super visual, FX heavy, with the portal to purgatory and the beam of light shooting out of your chest. Do these things add much complexity to giving a good performance?
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, asking
That modifier that you deployed there, good, really threw me for a loop because now we're out of my wheelhouse.
That's how you can tell that I don't write the questions.
As soon as you said the word complexity, I knew you were reading.
You're also supposed to be reading, jackass. Yeah, this guy tried to host a podcast.
No, you've always been better at reading the questions.
Yeah, I know. Oh, at doing the job?
I thought the coolest effect was the hands pushing through the chest. I thought that was cool.
That was next episode, but yeah.
Damn, they feel like one big episode, man. It's hard to pull it all apart.
Yeah, I know that sometimes it can be tricky to do that in front of the guys, too, where you have to do this sort of pretend that you're being ripped open.
That's the hardest part. It's just you feel like an idiot.
Yeah, totally.
More of an idiot than usual. And you have to go, and they're like, can you just close your mouth a little bit when you do that? And then they say, we're doing this MOS, it's slow motion. We can't hear you, so you don't have to make that sound anymore. Things like that.
Right.
You know, all these little things that just make you feel like, it makes you feel more like a puppet than other time.
Totally.
Right?
Totally. And in this show, the challenge is if Jensen and Jared are there,
right,
they're going to make you feel even more like a jackass than you already do for doing that.
Yeah. I once was hoarse on set and I had to yell right before a visual effects moment. It was like some light emanating. It wasn't this particular scene, but it was like some light was about to emanate from somewhere. I can't remember where it was, but I had to yell to everybody, close your eyes. But I was somewhat hoarse and I had to really yell it. So I went, close your eyes. It was like I was suddenly in this moment, I was a teenage boy whose voice cracked.
Peter Brady.
And that was at some point during season 6 that we had that scene, I think. And in season 15, whenever things were getting too rowdy on set and everybody wanted, even first AD was trying to quiet everybody down, Jared would yell, close your eyes.
Good to know they let things go.
They really let things go. Yeah. The main thing I found about Jared and Jensen is that they want you to feel included and comfortable. And 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 the last thing that they ever want to do is to have you feel mocked or ridiculed.
Oh my God. Wouldn't dream of it.
Yeah.
So I thought it was interesting at the end. I didn't know any of this, but you were God for a second, where we think you're God maybe at the end of season 6. Is that something that you were hoping you'd be for a long time, or is that?
Yeah. think so. At the end of season 6, I thought this will be a great season 7. Maybe season 7 and 8, Who knows?
It's funny. That's how I felt at the end of season 5 when Kripke was like, so you're God. And I was like, oh, awesome. And he was like, yeah, so you're not on the show anymore. What?
You went through that too, huh?
Yeah, at the end of season 5.
How long were you gone from the scene?
5.5
They
years.
didn't bring you back for 5.5 seasons?
Yeah, I do a cameo in season 10, and then I'm back in season 11.
No way. What? That is such a long hiatus.
That's like a forget about the guy hiatus.
Wow.
Yeah. Who's that? Yeah. Fortunately, one writer didn't forget about me.
Who
That's
was
why
it?
I came back. Robbie Thompson.
God, you owe Robbie a lot.
You're kidding.
I do. I owe him a lot. No, I send him a monthly sort of tithing. I have to say, though, we make a lot of jokes, but Misha, you do it great. You're always great. But this was particularly hard. Like going from this lovable character who's very kind with people, then being kind of the bad guy at the end of last season and this God complex. And then I add on to it, and also the Leviathans and everything that is evil and black ooze and everything. There's a lot. There are a lot of levels. There's even a moment in this where you're back to yourself for a second. You're like, I'm so ashamed. I'm so sorry. Then you're like, oh, kidding. You suck. But it's really done well. You do a really good job.
And by the way, for pennies on the dollar, that's full salary work you did for a fraction of that number.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
A lot of people in the fandom over the years have referenced your role as God, and though it is brief, have said that you are considered the series' favorite God. Have you heard that before, and what is your reaction to it?
That is not in my script. It's funny.
For those who are just listening to this in the audio version, Richard Speight went the extra mile on that little gag where he pretended his eyes cast downwards toward his screen as if he were reading a pre-script question.
I'm just a reader.
Oh, man. I wish I was God so I could smite your ass. That's really good, Rich. That was really funny stuff. So we don't have to answer that. But was there much conversation with Phil about where to go with these different versions of the character in this episode?
No, I mean, in my experience, Phil was not a very nuanced performance director.
Right.
Was that your experience too, guys? My experience of Phil was like, Phil gave me what I took as the most useful direction for Castiel of my entire run on the show. It was the beginning of season 5. And he said, I was thinking like, it's cool to think about Castiel as this alien being who's coming and that's not exactly what he said. He said, think of humans to Castiel as alien beings. You're seeing them up close for the first time in millennia. And you're observing them, and it's like you're seeing a strange beast that you've never seen before. And so approach humans with that open curiosity that you're just trying to understand them. And that totally informed how I played Castiel I guess that wasn't the beginning of season 5. That was through season 4. It was very early on. So that was really useful. But generally speaking, I think Phil gave a license to play more than anything as a director.
Yeah.
And let's just now play with it. You'd say, but he didn't do a lot of character-y directing.
Mm-hmm.
I think in general, as a series regular, you don't get a ton of character direction because directors, in my case, erroneously assume you already know what you're doing. You watch them focus their directing attention usually on guest stars who are like trying to figure out how to fit their puzzle piece into the puzzle that's already mostly formed there, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, there were times because when I played Castiel, I had a lot of different iterations of Cass. Like I had crazy Cass and I had Leviathan Cass and God Cass and German Nazi Cass and the empty Cass. And there were just a lot of versions over time. And
Hippie Cass,
that's right.
Yeah.
I kind of wished that I had gotten more help in finding those, characters along the way. I watched this episode again and I was really not happy with what I did for
this one.
Really?
I thought you crushed this one.
Thanks. Very generous of you, but I didn't like my version of the God. It could have been so much more interesting than what I did, but it would have been cool to spend an hour working it out with a director at some point.
Isn't that a classic shortfall of TV, though, with that schedule?
Yeah, but you've directed a lot of television, Rich. There is actually a little bit of time, like in prep.
That's when you do it.
You can find half an hour or 45 minutes to work something out with an actor.
So I've worked with a couple of series directors who want to talk before I if it's a big enough, important enough guest stars, they're like, hey, can we have a chat on Sunday before I start work Monday or whatever?
I like that, and I appreciate it when directors do that. And I think that sometimes they're, for whatever reason, gun shy about it, but I think it's actually really useful. And it's one of the things that I wish I had more of in working on Supernatural, because there were a lot of things that were a lot of curveballs that were thrown relatively last minute, and come up with a German accent here.
Yeah.
You know, one was really helpful was when I played Lucifer, I went to Mark Pellegrino's, and he basically served as my acting teacher.
That's amazing.
For a little bit, and gave me all these little tips on what he did as Lucifer. And he said, in every scene, I look at the other character in the scene and I wonder in my head whether I want to kill them or them. And it's like, oh, well, that's actually really great direction, just to have, you're running that filter as you. But that was super helpful.
I'm glad I wasn't on the set that day and went, hey, Misha, penny for your thoughts.
Because I was like, oh, wow, I had a scene with Luca Cassifer.
Yeah.
I feel so used.
Yes.
Wow, I imagine that was fun anyway, because he's a good actor and teacher. Speaking of good actors, what we really liked about these first 2 episodes of this season were the heavy hitters that are all there. What was it like working with Julian Richings? He
has such gravitas. Isn't it fun to see?
It's so fun.
He's very petite and very soft-spoken and very small.
Puckish.
Right, puckish. And yet he has this Shakespearean command of the screen. It's so cool to see. Also, just such a lovely human. Well, I was like, oh, I miss Julian. He's just a sweetheart.
Yeah.
We have to ask you about the stomach effect, because we really
it was so cool.
And it's in the next episode. But how did they do that? It looks so great. Do you remember?
Remind me, what is the stomach?
It was like the Freddy Krueger hand through the wall.
I opened my trench coat and that was just like old school practical puppetry trickery. It was like a magic trick. How did it work? There were obviously hands.
I felt like your head was on something. I mean, it looked like...
Yeah. It was like one of those Halloween costumes you see where it's like the guy carrying around a box with his head in it. Like the scarecrow up above. It was like that kind of thing. Like my whole torso was actually in front of me. There was they had a synthetic torso that was in front of me, and there was enough space for them to reach their arms up in front. Whoa. Now, I know you guys were wondering, like, oh, did they go in like just a lot of lube?
Yeah, that was what I thought.
That wasn't actually in my stomach.
Yeah,
that you were seeing.
Okay, so your agent did do you a solid then.
Yeah, actually, agent wasn't involved in that particular. It was we kept trying. And it wasn't working. They said it was too much leakage.
Thanks so much for taking the time. You're a busy guy. We appreciate you coming on. It's sad this is the only time we get to talk to you or see you. But
we always have to go through as people, and I think it slows the process down.
Yeah.
I hope you guys get to see each other in person someday. Do you have a court-mandated mediator to adjudicate those transactions, or how's that?
Yes.
Yeah, with each other and with other people.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye, buddy. Thanks, man.
Hey there, it's Misha Collins. If you're like me, you want a break from the sound of Richard Spate's voice, we'll be right back after this.
There are many ways to entice a potential new customer with flashy branding and calculated marketing strategies. But at the end of the day, the success of a business comes down to the ability to close the sale. And for businesses like Thrive Cosmetics, Allbirds, or Skims, it's what goes on behind the scenes, making selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple that makes the difference. For them and for millions of businesses, that difference is made with Shopify. Businesses that want to grow with Shopify. Because if your goal is growth, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. And Shopify will make sure you're ready. On the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Nobody does selling better than Shopify, and with Shop Pay, they boost conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going. It's no wonder Shopify is home of the #1 checkout on the planet. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Allbirds uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. That's shopify.com/realm. When I was younger, I would help my little sister do her makeup for dance competitions. And while I enjoyed spending that time with her, learning about the different techniques needed to achieve the look, there were pretty strict guidelines for the stage makeup, and not much room for self-expression. I was reminded of those moments recently when I was helping one of my best friends get ready for a party. As a trans woman who came out later in life, she didn't grow up playing with makeup like I had, and we had so much fun picking just the right purples and eye glitter to match her outfit for the evening. What made us both feel beautiful that night wasn't just about the makeup, but how we were committing to showing up as ourselves and encouraging each other to do the same. That's the commitment that Thrive Cosmetics also knows well, with over 10 years of celebrating the strength and beauty of women. And they don't just talk the talk. For every product purchased, Thrive Cosmetics donates products and funds to support important causes, including domestic abuse survivors, veterans, homelessness, and LGBTQ+ communities. I feel proud getting my favorite makeup products from them, knowing that it also positively impacts people and communities I care about. And they really do carry my favorite makeup products. One that I can't get enough of is the Liquid Lash Extensions Mascara. It's the best mascara I've ever used. It doesn't clump or smudge, and my eyelashes always look dramatically longer thanks to their flake-free tubing formula. Plus, like all of Thrive Cosmetics beauty products, it's certified 100% vegan, cruelty-free, and made with clean, skin-loving ingredients. So whether it's for yourself, a sister, a friend, celebrate the women in your life with Thrive Cosmetics, luxury beauty that gives back. Right now, you can get an exclusive 20% off your first order at thrivecosmetics.com/thrive. That's Thrive Cosmetics, CAUSEMETICS.com/thrive for 20% off your first order.
Thank you for supporting Supernatural then and now. And now, back to the show.
Well, as always, great to talk to our friend Misha, and a treat to have him on. I'd forgotten. I'd heard that story, I think. I forgot. But just the idea that he thought he was dead, we thought that was it.
I didn't realize that was this season, and I'd forgotten.
Yeah.
I know that he tells that story as like, and they cut my fee, blah, blah, blah. He is a lucky son of a bitch that Pedowitz leaned in on that.
Yeah, it's amazing, yeah. But now in retrospect, you look back and you're like, the show doesn't work without him. He's such a crucial part of the show.
Yeah. Rob, all that you said is true, but what we're about to find out is some things are true and some things are true. What do I mean by true? It means they live large in the pantheon of time under the umbrella of what I like to call mythology.
All right, we're going to be talking about him a lot this season, I have a feeling.
Leviathans.
Rich, please let me know all the knowledge you know about Leviathans, otherwise known as Leviathan.
The Leviathan is a sea serpent demon mentioned in early Judaic theology and mythology.
There you go.
It is referenced in several books of the Hebrew Bible and Christian Old Testament, including Psalms, the book of Job, the book of Isaiah, and the book of Enoch. In the ancient scriptures, God both created and defeated them.
Get a Job. Book of Job. Get a Job.
From Rob's 15-minute Bible set, he'll be doing Holy Laughter, the comedy club here in town.
You forgot to mention when you said it's a sea serpent that it's got quite an interesting set of teeth.
Yeah, man, it can bite through pretty much whatever it wants to bite through.
And just an extra large jaw that just wants to pop on out.
Yeah, and you kind of have to lean back to get the full exposure of the whole thing. It's very creepy, very cool effect.
So around the 17th century, it gained more secular use and came to refer to any sea monster, and has also been used to refer to overwhelmingly powerful people or things, or to just a nice set of teeth.
I've never heard anybody go like, wow, that dude's a real Leviathan on the field.
Yeah.
Early in the 20th century, horror fiction writer H.P. Lovecraft, an author I don't believe Rob had heard about until we did an episode that referred to H.P. Lovecraft at the end of season 6.
Correct.
H.P. Lovecraft appropriated the term and elements of its theological origins into his Menagerie of Monsters. My, oh my, the Menagerie of Monsters? That's meaningful.
That's not a surprise to me. I feel like the supernatural writers must draw a lot from H.P. Lovecraft, right? No coincidence that he's mentioned here.
By the way, if you see a faded sign at the side of the road, it says 15 miles to the Lovecraft.
Lovecraft baby. Lovecraft baby. Hopefully we'll get more on how they got those teeth. But for now, that's your Leviathan mythology.
That is it, but that's followed by something that's honestly slightly more fun than mythology, which is why we call it Fun Facts! Fun Facts! Fun Facts! Fun Facts.
The title of the episode, Meet the New Boss, is a lyric from the song Won't Get Fooled Again by The Who. Meet the new boss, same as the old boss.
Exactly right.
I did not know that's what they did.
In Hungary, the episode is titled Főnök, which means the boss.
A Főnök.
Sorry, I believe it's Főnök, the boss. And of course, in Japan, the title loosely translates into the happy fun boss that kills you.
The term for killing a god is called deicide.
Hurry up and deicide, I accidentally said,
I don't have all day.
triggering somebody to kill Rob Benedict by accident.
A lot of questions. We got a lot of questions.
This is the first time that Sam and Bobby interact with death. Oh, Sam and Bobby.
Yeah, interesting.
Oh, Sam and Bobby.
Man, he's so good. Death refers to the Leviathans as the Old Ones, a term used by H.P. Lovecraft in the Cthulhu mythos to describe ancient, powerful alien beings who come to Earth. I have Amazon and Netflix, but I don't have Cthulhu yet.
Good one.
Thanks. Yeah, they love it, the H.P. Lovecraft.
Oh, yeah.
Oof.
Who doesn't? Dean is wearing a Survivor Eye of the Tiger t-shirt at the beginning of the episode while repairing the Impala. Eye of the Tiger is a song to which Dean lip-synced in episode 406. That'd be season 4, episode 6 of that season. Yellow Fever, which famously became a special outtake aired after the episode.
Sending many people into a frenzy at how cute and hot he is singing Eye of the Tiger.
So true.
So true. The sticky note Crowley leaves on the spell says, "Bye forever, you fools. Kisses, see." One of my favorite things that Crowley does is the things that he calls Sam.
Moose and...
You giraffe.
Bummer you're not there to make fun of his fingers.
Well, it's a bummer that you have to read this next fun fact.
I'd like to think it's right up my wheelhouse. I like to dabble in the ancient tongues. The binding spell used on death, written in red ink, reads, Te nunc invoco mortem. Te in mea postate defixi, nunc et in aeternum. Translation, board the happy fun boat that surely will kill you.
That's not what it says. It's now I summon you, death. To my power I bind you now and for eternity.
On the happy fun boat.
I could use someone to defixie my prostate.
If I were to defixie your prostate, I needed the gloves.
Very good, guys. Very good stuff.
I would say... nice way to start the episode. Nice way to start the season, both on TV and in the podcast world.
Yeah, I agree. Really great. Really terrific.
High fives all around. You know what I mean?
As we mentioned, we watched 1 and 2 back to back. So I was excited to press play in the next episode because it was very bingeable.
Indeed. Oh, let's get to it. We'll see everybody soon next time for continuing basically the story because they're kind of one giant show in a way.
Yeah. Hey, let's get to it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Before we go...
Wait, what do you mean before we go?
Well, I had told people at the beginning of the episode about the discounts on Magic Mind, and it got us through this episode, and so I just have to tell them, before we go, here's that code to get discounts on Magic Mind. It gets you up to 48% off your subscription or 20% off a one-time purchase. Use the code Supernatural20.
That's clever.
At checkout. That's Supernatural20. Just go to magicmind.com/supernatural.
I'm going there now.
This episode of Supernatural features Jared Padalecki as Sam Winchester, Jensen Ackles as Dean Winchester, and Misha Collins as Castiel.
Guest stars include Jim Beaver, Mark Shepard, Julian Richings, Mark Pellegrino, and Fred Henderson.
Who did Fred Henderson play, I wonder?
Probably the guy got tied up.
Oh, yeah. Meet the New Boss was written by Sarah Gamble and directed by Phil Segrisha.
Editing by Anthony Pinker, music by Christopher Leonards.
The Foley artist was Monette Melvin.
I thought I recognized those footsteps.
That's Monette all the way.
Executive produced by Sarah Gamble and Robert Singer.
Supernatural was created by Eric Kripke.
The episode featured the following songs. These Boots Are Made for Walking by Nancy Sinatra.
Renegade by Styx.
And Slow Ride by Foghat. Dude,
those are some...
It was a solid lineup of music in this episode.
Yeah, those are some needle drops.
This episode originally aired on September 23rd, 2011.
This episode of Supernatural Then and Now was hosted and executive produced by Richard Speight Jr. and Rob Benedict.
Produced by Stephen Hine, written by Stephen Hine and Haida Holscher.
And edited and associate produced by Trey Booty.
It's a Booty!
Music provided by Tim Wynn.
This episode was recorded with the help of Sonic Fuel Studios.
This podcast is from Story Mill Media.
Follow the podcast on Instagram and YouTube at SPN Then and Now.
And become a member of the podcast to get early access, chat rooms with fans and Steve, live virtual events, and video interviews at patreon.com/SPN then and now.
I met the new boss. It looks exactly
he?
like Steve Hine, and he goes by the name Steve Hine.
Oh, weird.
I just literally got a real icy glare from Steve Hine, the new boss.
Old Steve Hyden wouldn't have done that. Wouldn't have glared at you like that, but...
That's why they gave me the axe, brought in this new guy.
Did you catch here what Steve wrote? If you thought Castiel was crazy at the beginning of the episode, things are about to nuts.
Things are about to nuts.
Oh, nuts.
That's so funny. Our new boss is the same as the old boss. Hydrate, you son of a bitch. I've never seen somebody go to town on a coconut water like that. Are you okay? You want an IV? The entire time I've been talking, working for a living, he's down there doing an imitation of a trucker, just guzzling down the you-know-what. All right. Are you okay?
Spit out my coconut water, but...
Seriously, I feel like something's up.
No, it's yummy. I love coconut water.
Fanok. Fornak. Defixie your prostate. I needed the gloves.
Proud of state, the defixie.
Yeah, it's a deleaky. It's a deleaky.
Storymill Media.
The Warning Woods has haunting horror stories that are sure to linger with you long after listening. I'm Miles Treidel, writer and narrator of The Warning Woods. Each week, I write an original scary story and share it with you on The Warning Woods. I've written 2 novels and nearly 200 short stories spanning the horror genre. If you're into scary stories, you need to check out The Warning Woods. Listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. Just search for The Warning Woods and click play at your own risk.
Greetings, adventurers. Today we're excited to introduce you to a new story, Dark Dice, a horror podcast that blurs the line between actual play and audio drama, where the story is determined by the roll of the dice. 6 adventurers embark on a journey into the ruinous domain of the Nameless God. They will never be the same again. One of the players is not what they seem after a doppelganger, a creature that can assume the form and voice of whatever it kills, infiltrates the team. As the players are picked off and replaced one at a time, can they figure out who the monster is before it's too late? Can you? Here's a quick example of what our show sounds like.
The shambler with the jar of liquid inside of him.
Soren Arkwright let loose an arrow that cracked the glass, passing through the spine of the creature. The shambler still managed to maintain its forward momentum, but stumbled as it eagerly tried to bite and swipe at Soren, landing near his feet.
As Jeff Goldblum has now joined our cast, Dark Dice is available however you listen to podcasts.